started with admiration of each other's attributes, but then there comes a time where everything gets to happen, and they wind up hating each other. And of course, you see this a lot on TV, where it's fake. You see where a woman might say, "I found the love of my life," in the soap operas. They've never been in love. Okay, you now. Then years later, they wind up killing each other. What has happened is that there is great energy when a relationship starts. Then the thing dies, and that is what makes us unhappy. That the situation grows, and then they fall. This is what we call chaos, or say that a certain country that was once an economic power, and now they are disaster. This creates suffering. The names of God maintain the initial vitality all of the time. It does not let it fall. It generates immortality. Immortality not only physically, but the immortality of situations. That is to say that something starts within the heart of God, and it maintains and promotes it. And that is great as generosity that they have given us in the 72 days. These tools act in the DNA of the soul. What is the DNA of the soul? It's the quantum level of things. And what is the quantum level of things? Sensitivity of being observed. That is to say, that it will allow you to know how to observe. If you know how to observe, you will generate an intelligent way to things. Things will respond. This is how you observe. In any other way, you would be using a tool. Therefore, there would be no results. Another point that I would like to make is that these forces respond to behaviors. For example, if someone was trying to get your attention by calling you by someone else's name, chances are they will respond. Not until they call you by your name. If you even know that they were trying to get your attention. These intelligent cosmic forces have behaviors. If you don't call them by their name, they will not respond. Here we have the 72 names. We have to learn how to call on them at their moment, at their hour, with the proper force and with the proper consciousness, just like the soul needs a body, so that it may be able to manifest itself in life. Or consciousness needs a body to manifest itself in life. What is the body for our consciousness? The body for our consciousness is the I would like to explain another very important thing of these names of God. Some small drawings, insight, things and small drawings of divine intelligence. These divine intelligence do not give ear to any person who it does not refer to. What I'm trying to say is that this class is because God felt that His intelligence is inferior to the intelligence. If not, then you would have never seen the names of God. They would have never fallen into your hands. You would have never been listening to this class. What I'm trying to say is that there is a thermostat of security. If a person is not of the right qualities that God sees sufficient, then the names of God do not enter into their lives. You wouldn't even have the consciousness that they existed. That is to say that you listening to the show is not by chance. The letters of the names of God, they get close to those that make you feel the names of God. And this is a compliment that I'm giving you because This has the virtue of erasing the past, wipes clean the chalkboard of life. In my life, Hasba Shalom, I have a Shabbat, or Hasba Shalom, I have an kosher. Or in the past life, I haven't acted good with others, committed all kinds of crazy crimes, Hasba Shalom. I will meditate Vav He Vav. And what will I tell the cosmic world? That the chalkboard that was written and ready because of the bad things that I did in my life. And tell her that that wasn't me. I have reached a level that I negate all of that I did in the past because it wasn't me. I meditate, Vav He Vav, and return to what I used to be. I am a spark of meditate this name and return to God before. What does this mean? It means that the chocolate that contains my past is so that starting on the 7 turnings of God, it would be good to start with wiping my past turnings so that we would have a clean slate to work with. Second, in order for the name of God to work. We're going to go ahead and stop here, and so we'll have to pick up here on part 2. So thank you very much for listening to me. So we'll continue with this first name that we started with the body. Why do we start with this name on Shabbat? Because on Shabbat we enter a dimension that is not a dimension of the body. It's a dimension of the soul. And we come to Shabbat very, very contaminated with all the dealings of every one we had during the week, Jewish or non-Jewish, with thoughts relating to all of the stress that we experience during the week, whether it's a business, family, problems related to health, all kinds of problems, and this creates a great strain in us. It's likened to the filth that we spoke about in class 1, but at a more personal level. What Vav He Vav is going to do is that it will remove and destroy that cap or filth or klipa that we drag from Sunday to Friday, and it will bring us to an embryonic state. When an embryo is in its mother's womb, nothing good or bad has been declared on it. Therefore, its chalkboard is clean. The Vav He Vav puts us in an embryonic state and lets us enter Shabbat in a state of serenity. Because if we carry all of the components of the week, we do not enter Shabbat. It becomes one. It's very beneficial to do a mikvah before Shabbat, not only for men but also for women, not only in terms of nidam, but in terms of cleansing. Water has an energy that destroys all of the evil of the body. And because inside of us we have the soul, that is the mind. And outside we have water, which is pure essence, goodness, which destroys the ego. The body that has been impregnated with the energy of lots of ego, when it is sandwiched between the soul and the water, learns from the soul and the body. But if you do not have the water, you only have the soul. The soul needs a reinforcement that will be the water of the mikvah. So he that gets in the mikvah and meditates Vav He Vav before Shabbat, he comes out of zero in the blackboard, in the chalkboard. There is nothing. It is clean. You have to do that at the last hour if possible. Usually those who know how to do it in the last hour, so they no longer have contact with anyone. They do not shake hands with anyone because they want to enter the synagogue clean and do not want to contaminate themselves with others who are also contaminated, and it's not a contamination that is seen, but a voice of another person or the attention of another person can contaminate, be contagious. Even a telephone call from a nervous person, when they hang up, it leaves you in a bad state of mind. So you have to do what is just, so there is nothing that may interfere with the increase of Shabbat. Because what's going to happen in Shabbat is of another world. So that is if you want to capture the soul of Shabbat. So we are in Vav He Vav. As you can see, this name is folded here. It appears at the top first, and then here in number 49. Vav He Vav is the number 1 and number 49 in the rank of 72. Here is number 1 and here is number 49. Both clean, but in different levels. For those which are familiar with the Sephirot, this is Keter and this is Netzah. Netzah is a lower level, but it's a level of love, and Keter is a higher level. Here the emotions are clean, and here not only emotions are clean, but thoughts and everything is cleansed. There's another name that's also duplicated. It's number 11 and number 17. The 11 name is Lamed Aleph Vav. It's right here, and 17 is right here. Both break pride, because it is written that the Holy One, blessed be He, states in the Torah that there is no room for Him when there is pride. If we're going to be a recipient of the Holy One, blessed be He, and we want to be a transit for His energy, we have to get rid of the chimpanzee that is occupying the seat. It's like a fighter pilot who wants to get into his Mirage 3, and in the seat there is a chimpanzee that will not move when the pilot tells him to move. The pilot cannot fly and make his board, and the chimpanzee says, "From here I will not move." That is the ego, and so therefore the pilot cannot fly and make his war, cannot do it. Here we have a pair of chimpanzees that are defeated with this. The bad thing is that the chimpanzee is next to the controls. Here it is in Chokhmah and here in Bina. Here is the ego that has to do with the intuition, and here with the ego that has to do with the intellect. As you may have noticed, we've got the 72 names of God in the order that you see on the chart. That's because it goes by packets. I'm going to give you 4 names that are linked to Hesed.
In 5.8 miles, exit to US 30 East Fort Everett, Breezeway.
68, Het Bet Vav, and number 43, Vav Vav Vav. Number 2, Yud Lamed Yud. These form a packet called the Force of Hesed. That is a force as if we were protected, as if we were an embryo in the womb of a mother, and we were protected by the bag of amniotic fluid, just as an embryo is protected in a bag of amniotic fluid. We too, when we use these 4 names, fabricate a bag of amniotic energy, so to speak. And now I'll tell you what they're used for. Anshin Lamed, the number 47, serves to resolve conflicts between the soul and the body. Almost all evils we come across, to include bad thoughts and all bad events we encounter, are because we are at war with ourselves, and we generate thoughts that we project terrible situations that then become reality. It's enough for us to say that to ourselves that I do not want something to happen, and we generate that thing want to happen, or the I'm afraid of something and then it happens. The I do not want and the I am scared comes from the conflict between the body and the soul. Ayin Shin Lamed resolves the conflict. The name Het Ben Vav is essential for happiness. Without it, there is no possibility of being happy, and I will tell you why. Because as one alumni, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, said, all sins and all the evils of this world comes from mistakes with our sexuality. Because the bad application of semen, or the misuse of semen, generates harmful spiritual forces that come to create events of pain, and these harmful spiritual forces, we encapsulate them and send them back to their dimension and not into our lives with Chet Bet Vav. We have it in the Amidah when we say Chokmah Bina Hadat. Number 43, we said that it was Vav Vav Lamed. Here it is. This one is used to release the souls that are held captive by negative forces. That is to say, as there are terrorists who kidnap people, there exist negative cosmic energies, ones that by means of decree kidnap souls. Those which are seen in prison just like a fly on a spider. This name has the virtue, and this is a great lesson that liberates those souls. That is, when a person has serious psychological problems, it's terrible, because the soul is caught in this affliction. The commando that liberates it is called Vav Vav Lamed. You always have to do it for others. If you do it for yourself, it does not work. Very simple, because 72 is the numerical value of the word Hesed, and Hesed is to turn it over to others. If you direct it to yourself, that is not Hesed. You will see that in all these letters, there is one that's missing. You will see that it's the letter Gimel, which is the initial for the word Gava, which means pride. That is to say that as soon as you look with pride or with desire for yourself, it does not go with Hesed. And then think of one thing. The way you do not have any problems in this life is to be busy with the problems of others. Because here the Holy One, blessed be He, says, oh, this person is occupying himself with the problems of others, so therefore I will remove his problems because he worries about the problems of others. The best way to be happy is to take up hope.
In 1 mile, use the right lane to exit right 2 US 30 East toward Everett, Breezewood.
Excuse me, Het Bet Vav does not come to you if you are not free of sexual sin. And the name of the non-ego does not come to you if you haven't killed your ego. Because you do not come to find the names of God. The names of God come looking for you. There's a thermostat that says with this person yes and with this person no. Those that are not in this class is because they're not entitled to listen. It's very simple. And maybe one has to pass through great suffering before one gets to listen to this class. Because until your ego gets broken, you do not have the right to listen to these treasures. So then one says, blessed be all the wrongs I have suffered in order to reach this place, because the wrongs of the body may be the right thing for the soul. Yud Lamed Yud accelerates the process of redemption and also helps those which...
Exit right 2 US 30 East toward Everett, Breezewood.
Those cleaner commercials that clean everything. The cleaner of the soul is Yud Lamed Yud. Two other names are the Ayin Lamed Mem and Mem Heshin. Ayin Lamed Mem in number 4 and number 5, which is Mem Heshin. Ayin Lamed Mem forms the word Olam, which means world, and Mem Heshin forms the letters Moshe of Hashem. Ayin Lamed Mem transfers negative thoughts into positive thoughts. That is to say that someone very negative will start thinking very positive thanks to this name. Memhe Shin is the name that strengthens our immune system for the soul, so that we do not capture a spiritual virus. Because just like the
Continue straight for 20 minutes to I-70 East.
a field of protection. Memhe Shin. I want to make something clear because here there can be a bad interpretation. So please listen. Do not think that when we meditate God's names, everything comes from above and from outside, and then it comes inside of us. It does not work that way. Everything functions in our consciousness. Nothing comes from the outside. The problem is that we emit wrong energy waves. What these names do is that they program our consciousness to emit correct waves and direct it according to the blessings which we want. That is to say that we program our own selves with our own consciousness. We in our consciousness, we have 72 names of God recorded in our soul. But just like when you use a telephone, you have to have a telephone number. And if you don't have a telephone number, then you don't have access to use the phone. The names of God are the pin or the numbers of the different programs that are in our consciousness. That is to say that when we say Ayin Lamed Mem, which are to cleanse the thoughts, we have entered a pin in our consciousness that activates that name that is already recorded in our soul. That is to say that that power is already latent in our soul and is put there from the factory. We come fully equipped when we are created. We are fully loaded. We have all the accessories. But what happens is that we have to know how to use it. Just like if someone gives you a new computer but doesn't show you how it works, it will not work for you, and we are something more than a computer. But we have to know how we function, because we have been created with a soul, and the soul has a recorded program that is linked with all the forces of the universe. We are the keyboard of all the forces of the universe, and only limited to according to the pin that we enter. And according to that pin, we generate an event that will manifest itself in our lives. When we say Memhe Shin, that is normally used to heal people, you think you are healing a person. No, you're not. However, the person has been healed. I'm not healing anyone. I do not know how to heal anyone. But after utilizing the name of God, the person will get healed. Have I healed that person? No. All I've done is entered the pin, and that person himself has said that he or she wants to be healed. And he himself activates his body's defense system with the letters, which are amplifiers, and his desire to get healed is so great that his immune system ensures that he is healed. And he tells you, I thank you very much for healing me. And you tell him, I haven't healed you. I just inputted the pin. You have healed yourself. One might say, I don't have any money, so I'm going to enter the